Hey, Shalom, Yashar Allah. First and foremost, I would like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachach. Double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And peace and salutations to all you hopeful elect Akim out there laboring that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp. And I'm coming at you with this lesson, based off of just some things that were on my mind today, and through the Spirit, hopefully this is edifying to anybody that needs to hear this. But this lesson is about balance. And the balance that I'm talking about is specifically talking about those that do this work, the men out there on the highways and byways, those that proclaim themselves to be preaching the gospel, you know, um, that alone is a very heavy office, and not to mention everything else that this world throws at you, not to mention the flesh that we battle, whether it's old age, whether it's a ailment, a dis-ease that you might be dealing with. At the end of the day, everybody has to find their balance. And finding that balance is what is able to get you through this marathon. Because this is not a sprint. This is not a 100-yard dash. This is not how quick can you make the most 100 videos. This is about balance. And what I mean by that is, all the brothers here in Great Millstone, we have jobs, but we also have a more important job, which is being a prophet. And it was just something I was meditating on today about, my personal life and how you have to balance everything out. And your balance is what works for you may not work for me. And what works for me may not work for you. And what I mean by that is brothers do videos at different times. We all try to do something through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to edify the flock. I did a video yesterday that ended up having problems uploading. YouTube was, Esau was being the devil that he was. And, I just have to, work on either the videos I use in my lessons or the words that I use or et cetera, et cetera. But the point being is that you have to find the balance that works for you from the time that you have for work, for the time if brothers have wives, if brothers have children, if brothers are very, let's say, involved with their family, their cardinal family, and their family depends on them for whatever reason, rides, helping the family out, picking up grandma, whatever it may be, man. You have to find a balance because in this chaotic world, it's really easy to be busy all the time. And you have to find the balance that is what we should be doing in these last days, which is preaching the gospel first and foremost. And everything else that you do in life is just extra. Me personally, I had to work 12 hours today, man. And I work in construction and I ended up being at one job for 8.5 hours. And then there was a 911 call and I had to go and do some corrections at another job because of where I was in town. I was the closest one to go take care of that issue at that job. So I thought it was a good idea to just go straight to the job and get it done, and it ended up being a whole nother 4.5 hours, if you include the paperwork that I have to do after completing the job. And at the end of it, I was like, man, I should have gave myself a break. I should have done this. I should have done that. I shouldn't have gone, just like a better words, just balls to the wall, just full blown 110%. And, I should have definitely took time to eat something because when I got home, man, I was shaky. I had to sit in my truck a little bit, finishing a little bit of the paperwork that I had to do just to calm down before I got in the house because my mind was just running, man. And I know that brothers, have different jobs and that their carnal job that they use to put bread on the table can get to them. It can wear on their body, it can wear on their mental energy. And the point that I want to say is that you have to always find a time, to do the best that you can, and for me personally, I couldn't go to sleep tonight knowing that I didn't do a video or didn't try to produce something edifying for the flock. because that's just my spirit. But the point that I was just thinking is that you have to find time in your day to serve Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So you don't want to be an unbalanced, you don't want to be unbalanced, because that's abominable in the sense that that's not how you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to just be work, work, work all the time. You're not supposed to just be family man all the time. I just got to take care of the family. No, that's not right, because what are you doing for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? So the point being that I want to bring is just that, to reiterate the fact that don't overwork yourself in anything, whether it be in the job, with your family, because the thing that we're most prioritized is pushing this work, pushing out lessons, going to camp, reading. You can't really get in time, so much time in for reading if you push yourself to the extremes at work and you get home and you're just, dead. So I'm gonna get some scriptures real quick right out the gate before, I ramble more, because the first scripture that came to my head, as I was going through this pretty rough Monday, I'm not gonna lie, for myself, I wanted to reiterate the point of finding that balance, because what I can handle, another brother can't, and what another brother can handle, I can't handle, So every brother has a different balance in their life, a different equilibrium that keeps them going, and you have to find your own method of success, because if you do not find your own method of success, you will not be successful. You can't push yourself to do 3-4 videos and then go to work. Some brothers can, but let's say you get burnt out and you can't do anything for the rest of the day, or you're in a bad mood, so you're now arguing with your kids, your wife, your family, your dad, whoever calls you, you're fucking mad at your dog for no reason, whatever it is, man, you don't want to be that, because all that causes a negative, energy that you're walking around with. But this is Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is abomination to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, but a just way is his delight. And daily it is something that you should be pushing to do something for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. The elders and apostles say minimum 3 videos, but you don't want to just be the minimum. You don't want to just go and slide by and just do barely enough, man. You want to always push yourself. Push yourself to the best of your ability, but don't push yourself to where you're, making yourself sick. Because like I said in the beginning of this lesson, this is a marathon and not a sprint. So I'm going to go to, this is Mark 14:49, and this is the words of Yahushai. The point being here is that Yahushai was daily in the temple. This is Mark 14:49. I was daily with you in the temple teaching, and ye took me not. But the scriptures must be fulfilled. And this was right before he got taken, by the Romans and the Pharisees and accused and ultimately put on the cross. But the point being that I wanted to get out of the scripture is that Yahushai was daily doing something for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So to the best of your ability, finding balance in your life is something very important that each brother needs to really sit down and focus on. Again, I'm not bigging myself up, because I did not, trust me, brothers, I did not want to work 12 hours today. But sometimes that's just what the job requires. The same way that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai requires just a little extra from you. I got home, I took a shower, I ate, was meditating, and then this lesson just came to me, feeling like something that somebody somewhere out there needs to hear. Because you really need to understand that this truth is something very valuable, and you don't want to fumble the ball and try to do too much or be a shooting star and fizzle out really quick because you took too much upon yourself. What is that word? Take not over much. I think that's how it says. Okay, here, this is Ecclesiastes 7:16. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? So again, point blank period, you don't got to be over righteous. It's not a bad thing to try to push yourself in the spirit, but don't burn yourself out in the meantime. Don't constantly be looking at the negative in this world, always being like, oh man, oh this. I mean, we're vexed as it is being in this world. And I'm not saying I don't go through my life judging every little thing that happens. It's just reflex at this point when you're in the spirit. It's reflex for you to see two moles rocking and be like, you dirty motherfuckers, man. Or to see your be at work and your coworkers be fucking what do you call it, order a pizza for work or whatever, and it's all pepperoni, man, and what are you gonna go flip over the pizza box and start cussing everybody out? No, man. Just go get something else for lunch, I guess. Sometimes you gotta pour out your shekels and go down the street. Anyways, but the point being is that you don't want to put too much upon yourself thinking that you can handle it, because again, I'm going to reiterate this: you must find your own method to success, or you will not be successful. If you work long hours, and let's say you have a longer lunch, or whatever. In my case, I didn't even have a lunch today, but I know that my evenings are free, so I like to do my little my lessons in the evening, because I'm in the right state of mind. I have a rhythm, a routine, and that's what works for me. But some brothers like to do it in the morning. Some brothers like to do it in the afternoon. Some brothers don't work a day in the middle of the week, so they go out to camp. So whatever it is, Akim, the point that I wanted to bring is just that you have to find that balance in your own life. And I saw this picture and it just made me, thinking I'm going to read a couple things on this list, but this is work-life balance. And we know that we are workmen, we are yoke fellows, we are tied to constantly teach this gospel. And this is a couple words. This is work-life balance. This is attitudes, children, goals, meetings, family, growth, enjoyment, future, identity, results, weekends. These are all things that you're obligated to do, as a man, especially if you have a family. Let's say you may not have a wife that believes, so she's expecting you to go take her out or do something like that. You're not going off, you're not being wicked. Take your wife out, go on a movie, to go out to dinner, enjoy your time. Don't think that, oh, no, I got to do this, I got to do that. No, that's going off. We ain't going to that restaurant because they cook pork on the grill. Oh, I know that they cook pork on the grill at least once, so they got to throw the whole oven away. So we ain't never going to go out to eat ever again, woman. So it doesn't make sense. You can't be over righteous, but you have to really be understanding of the times that you live in. And I don't want to make this lesson too long, but just through the Spirit, I wanted to just get this out there for some brother that needs to hear this, man. Don't put too much upon yourself. And I'm going to bring, which will segue into this next scripture that I have. This is Ecclesiasticus 27:12. If thou be among the undiscreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding. Let's say you're not able at your job to watch videos. Most brothers aren't. Some brothers can. I know for my job, it's about 50-50. If I'm doing something monotonous that I don't have to put my brain into, I like to throw a lesson on. But let's say something that I'm always talking, I'm having to talk to this person, instruct this person, yell at that guy over there to get this, because I'm in construction, there's a lot of yelling. I don't like to play a lesson, because I like to just have some background music playing, because it's just something in my brain to keep me focused and, sing along to something for a little bit while I'm doing something. Because I don't like to just listen to lessons and then have to watch it again because I wasn't paying attention or because I missed something. But again, some brothers may like that. You see what I'm saying? So the point being is that you must always understand the position that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai put you in and find the balance. And it may take some time. It may take some growing pains. The brother that is the head of your camp may tell you to start grading homeworks, tell you to start reviewing this brother's videos. Now you have another hour that you have to wiggle in your day somehow. You got to add that hour so that you can make sure to get the ministry and take care of the body, by grading that brother's homeworks or watching videos, etc. But you have to make that time in your day. You have to be able to find a new balance, because things change all the time. This life is always changing. You get a new job, you get a new house, your commute is farther, whatever it is, man. You have to constantly be able to be in a position to change, and at the end of the day, we're not going to be perfect. but we can always put our best foot forward. And at the end of the day, you always want to be trying to do something for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, no matter what your work or family schedule is, because all that is extra compared to our true calling of being hopeful elect out here, given the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Chakwadash to teach this word, because not many, very few have that talent. Only the elect, only those that are given the spirit in this time are able to teach. So it is very important for you to capitalize on that talent Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave you. Don't hide it under a napkin. Don't think that you got nothing to do with it. If you know 1, 2, 3 scriptures, you go over those 1, 2, 3 scriptures all the time, man. But obviously you're going to continue to grow. But if you're new to this truth and you know the breakdown to those 3 scriptures, man, go with it. Run with it. Go to camp. Talk about those scriptures. Bring an article to use those scriptures, man. You know, but the point being is that find a balance, continue to grow, and learn how to deal and adapt to change. Because at the end of the day, we all want to do something for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai by our works and by our faith. And sometimes your job, your family, your wife, your kids can feel like overwhelming because you want to be there for everyone. But sad story is you only got 24 hours in the day. And let me tell you what, 8 hours to sleep, 8 hours to work, 8 hours for family. And that's the minimum, you know, because you have to have that balance. You don't want to go crazy at work. You don't want to be crazy always up under your woman's titty, always just cuddled up or whatever it is, man. You know, Salakia, you know, always cuddled up because you want to be with your boo. No, man, it's not like that, man. You got to constantly be a man of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and doing the work and finding balance and how to juggle all of that is what this ministry is partly about, you know, because each brother deals with his own, you know, obstacles in this ministry individually, you know, whether it be fighting against your family because they don't accept it, your woman don't accept it, your children think you're crazy, coworkers saw you, now they're bringing drama at work, whatever it is, man, you know, you have to find the balance and find your own method of success and try to find time. If you got a long lunch, do a video then. You know, if you are on the commute home, let's say you got a long commute. Let's say you got an hour commute, hour and a half, you know, not saying talking text or driving text or whatever, but sometimes you can throw your earphones in, you know, and throw a couple scriptures up, man. You know, not recommended though, you know, brothers drive safe out there, you know, but always do the best that you can on trying to do something for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So I didn't want to make this too long. You know, I just wanted to get this out there. You know, and Lord willing, it was edifying unto the elect. Till next time, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Chakwadash, and double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And peace and salutations to all you hopeful elect Akim out there laboring that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. Till next time, Lord willing, Shalom.